Everybody has one podcast. We are back.
Yes, yes.
Another week. So much going on in the world of sports. So little time to discuss it all. I'm your host, Jason Flake. My co-host, Lance Reynolds, a.k.a. the People's Champ.
What up, Doe?
We like to start the show the same way each week, man, thanking the Everybody Has One family for another great week of engagement. Got thousands of views on the YouTube channel, man. Great engagement all across the social sites. That is, Everybody Has the #1 sports podcast on YouTube. That is, Everybody Has One spelled out sports podcast everywhere else. That's Facebook, that's Instagram, that's Twitch, that's Threads, and that's TikTok. The audio version of the podcast is available on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Make sure y'all tapping in with us there. Make sure y'all like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. When y'all subscribe, make sure that y'all hit that bell notification so that you are notified every single time that we go live. When you hit that bell notification, make sure that you hit all to make sure that you are notified every single time that we post new content, new videos, new shorts, and, of course, every single time that we go live, which is every Wednesday at 8:30 or as close as we can get to it. We appreciate the Everybody Has One family. We know that none of this is possible without you. So without further ado, we gonna get started with these topics, man.
Let's get it.
Again, man, you know, particularly for a summer day, it's pretty jam-packed, man, this week, man. There's a lot of activity, a lot going on, a lot of inactivity, which, you know, is still to be discussed, man. But our weekly conversation with the People's Champ. Let's talk about this Ryan Clark situation.
Oh, yeah.
This was extremely interesting this past week. A lot of Easter eggs in here.
Black Tuesday at ESPN.
Yeah, right. This July 20th to be specific, ESPN officially cut ties with a high-profile NFL analyst Ryan Clark. In a highly unusual move, Clark was informed of his dismissal during a commercial break while mid-broadcast on NFL Live. Ryan was actively appearing on the July 20th, 2026 episode of NFL Live when executives pulled him from the broadcast. According to The Athletic, the network originally planned to inform him the following morning. However, once media outlets began inquiring about his impending departure, executives rushed to tell him during a commercial break so he would not first read about his termination on social media. Clark did not return for the remainder of the show, while Clark's exit coincided with broader corporate layoffs at ESPN. Internal factors also contributed to the decision. Disney and ESPN implemented a widespread round of job cuts. The layoffs primarily stemmed from restructuring after ESPN acquired the NFL network and its digital assets. Reports also indicate that the network executives had soured on Clark following a highly publicized 2025 on-air exchange on Get Up with colleague Peter Schrager. During that segment, Clark dismissed Schrager's opinion by attributing it to, quote, the non-player in you, unquote, which created ongoing friction. That's according to the New York Times. Let me ask the People's Champ. Was informing Clark of his termination on air unprofessional by ESPN, or was it justified given the nature of the fast-moving information age? What say you?
Man. Before you go on, I just do want to make a point of saying that during the article did come out today that said that he asked during the show if he should stay on to finish the show, and they told him no.
Oh, okay. Got it. But what say the People's Champ? You think that was unprofessional by ESPN? Was it justified? Even if he asked, do you think it was justified that they told him to not finish the show?
I mean, even with that update.
Right.
Not only was it that, it is my nomination for this week's Sucka Shit segment. Like, what are we doing?
Right.
Come on, man. That's just unprofessional and out of pocket.
Yeah.
To me, like, come on.
I agree.
I think no matter how you feel about Ryan Clark.
Right.
From the outside looking in, it can't help but look like they used this as an opportunity to kind of embarrass him.
Right.
That's embarrassing.
Yeah.
Like, no matter how you slice that.
Mm-hmm.
And personal feelings aside, you would think he's done enough for the network.
Sure.
Specifically the NFL Live show.
Yeah.
Where I believe they've won 2 Emmys since he's, been a part of that show.
Part of it, yeah.
So, yeah, I just think he deserved better than that.
Yeah.
So, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, right. Like, why was the answer no? You know what I'm saying? Like, why would the answer have been no to him remaining on, for the remainder of the show? Like, yeah, go ahead and finish the show. You know what I'm saying?
Because there's no saving face at this point.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, all the toothpaste is out of the tube. It's all
at
out.
that point, yeah.
So.
Yeah, no, I concur. I think it was highly unprofessional and unfair to Ryan Clark. I think once the broadcast has started, I think you just trust him to remain professional until its conclusion. And then, you deal with whatever, informing him of any impending personnel decisions brings at that point, So I think whoever made that call, yes, I think that was unprofessional. Whoever told him no, even
right.
if he asked, you should have said, yeah, and just go ahead and finish the show. I think not only was it unfair to Ryan Clark, I think it was unfair to the rest of the cast as well.
Yeah,
they started
to do a show with
him. Yeah, exactly. They started the show obviously thinking that they were going to have him as a part of the team for the duration of the show, and that was stripped from them during the show as well. So I'm sure that they had to adjust on the fly.
Right.
So, yeah, I mean, the viewers tune in to NFL Live, and they do so to be entertained and informed about the happenings around the NFL and not to witness corporate paper shuffling.
Right.
So,
right.
yes, I mean, I too agree. I'm like, that was unprofessional, and I think that in the future, you would try to keep those things behind the scenes if you're ESPN. I do want to ask you specifically about that Peter Schrager incident, though. Do you believe that the exchange was unprofessional? Now, again, full disclosure, on my part, I had to go back and rewatch it.
I watched it.
I had to rewatch the entire thing. But do you think it was unprofessional on the part of Ryan Clark? Or do you think Schrager was just being overly sensitive? Or did the executive simply misread the interaction? What say the people's champ?
Peter Schrager with his version of white woman tears. Like, seriously, dude. Like, I'm seriously.
Yeah.
Like, he went and whined because they pay Peter Schrager a lot of money to leave the previous network that he was on.
Right.
To come over to ESPN. So, no, man. I watched that exchange, and Ryan prefaced what he was about to say.
I agree, yeah. Yep, I saw that.
As about as polite as you possibly could,
right, yeah.
given the context. And then before he could even finish what he was going to say, I mean, Schrager's hit dog hollering, "Oh, come on, Ryan!" Right. And Ryan had to cut him off, like, "Bro, I wasn't even talking about you."
Yeah, he said I was talking about myself.
I was talking about myself.
I agree.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And yeah,
I mean, in fairness, do we know that Schrager complained?
It did. I don't think he had to.
Okay.
I
think the executive saw it?
Yeah, I think him souring up on the air the way that he did.
Okay.
And then just by that, because a lot of programming and marketing period now is based on your clippability, I guess.
Sure.
And that was absolutely a viral moment. It was everywhere. So I think that alone, he didn't have to. They probably called him in like, "Hey, Pete, how do you feel about Clark?"
Right.
I'm being hypothetical.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, because we don't know. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's why I'm like, I don't necessarily want to negatively paint him.
But my little experience with corporate America, sometimes that's kind of how things could possibly play out.
Right. And because I'm like, I don't necessarily want to paint him as like a Karen in the situation, because I don't necessarily know that he complained per se.
But he definitely whined like a Karen when that initial comment came out.
Yes.
Like that was weak. Oh, come on, Ryan, don't do that. What did he say? Don't discredit. He used
I'm trying to remember the words.
Discredit me or disparage or
did he say don't be dismissive? Yeah, I forget the exact verbiage.
It was something to add a real condescending context to what Ryan was trying to say.
I agree.
Which I don't think was his intention. That I didn't pick up on that at all.
Mm-hmm.
So again, his initial reaction to me was very Karen-esque. And again, I think that led to a viral moment.
Yep.
And let's just be honest, Ryan Clark has a few viral moments, or at least, I don't want to say controversial incidents, but lightning rod incidents.
Sure.
And ESPN is kind of loosening the slack a little bit, with the network. So maybe that could play into it too.
Yep.
But yeah, I think the Schrager incident, I think played in it. I think maybe a lot of the viral moments that he may have had with the Josh Allen comments in the past.
Yep.
Because the thing about it, as we learn this whole social media and engagement and how it works, they read that engagement. They look at that engagement.
Sure.
And, a lot of the comments when those topics come up, they turn down an ugly road.
Yeah.
And, maybe that's, maybe that could be something that they want to steer clear from. Who knows? But I just think, how they handled it was just not the way to go.
Yeah. I mean, so, my read on it, and again, full disclosure, I did have to go back and rewatch it. But, to me, opinion panels are compiled to represent diversity. First off, I didn't think it was anything wrong with what Ryan Clark said. He is a non-player. That you do bring a non-player perspective. He didn't lie on you. I'd have been like, I am a non-player. If I was talking to a professional athlete or a former professional athlete, and they said, you bring a non-player perspective, yeah, I do. I have never been on a professional playing surface. I can't speak to that. You know what I'm saying? Like, because even if you've played at other levels, I've never played on a professional playing surface. So, yeah, it's because it was, that harkens back to the conversation that we had last week about Shakur and Shannon. I don't have to have been a professional boxer to understand the landscape of boxing. I have to have been a professional boxer to understand the perspective of a professional boxer. Right. So, I think that,
because if Ryan Clark would have called him ignorant, he'd have probably got fired.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I didn't even I was like you. I thought it was a fairly benign type of situation. And also, just on a separate point, I thought that the ESPN executives misread the situation. I think that's a good interaction from the standpoint of engagement. You want people to, viral moments are good, in other words, I guess is what I'm trying to drive at without going too much in the weeds on that point. You want some friction. That's the reason you have a diverse panel. Otherwise, you just have a whole panel of former athletes, or you just have a whole panel of sports reporters, like they used to have the sports report, like you just have a panel of one type of thing. You'd have a monolithic panel, and that would just be it. I think the reason you have some analysts and some reporters and some former athletes, like you have a diversity of opinions and perspectives, is so that you can create some diversity of thought and maybe some friction. Like, hey, I see it from this perspective. Let me give you the player's point of view. You're just an analyst. I see it a different way. So, I just thought that, and for Schrager's part, I think if you're going to be an analyst discussing the game with individuals who have played professional, you have to leave your insecurities at the door. You can't bring those insecurities in with you. So, I kind of saw what you saw. If they really made something of that and made that a part of the reason. And I'm sure that that's not the entire reason. I'm sure that there's a cocktail of reasons why, including, just simply financial reasons. But let me ask you the last question that I have on this particular topic is about the ESPN model itself. Because we've basically seen ESPN making these type of sweeping cuts fairly regularly. Does the ESPN model still work? And if there are issues, what are they, according to the People's Champ?
Does the ESPN model still work? Well, the numbers say no.
Right. Yeah. In some respects. Yeah. Yep.
But, it's like, it's kind of hard to define what their model is. It's like they have their TV programming.
Right. That I think that's
like,
more what I'm talking about, because I think that's more where they struggle. I mean, right.
Yeah,
we know the NFL works.
Like, but it's like
I'm not asking about whether or not
but
the
I think
NFL
that's
contract.
I think that's the thing.
Yeah.
That's really not them. You know what I mean? Like, when those shows were successful, it was because they were more so spearheaded by the professionals, that could fill hours with sport topics that were layered. Yeah. And then, they could sprinkle in and get those different opinions.
Sure.
Because the topics were so layered and they had so much more depth. Whereas now, a lot of it is so much more fast paced.
Okay.
And also, there's a lack of a lot of the storytellers are independents.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I have something very similar to that in my notes. But go ahead.
I think that independent component is a lot more lucrative than it was before. So I don't think you can sustain the old model the way that you used to, because I think now, if you become a star of a show, you can just go create your own show. Yep. And then within a year, be your own media entity.
Yes.
Hello. But you get what I'm saying?
Definitely.
So I think that's probably the biggest component as to why the model's changing and not working. And I think ESPN recognizes it, and that's why they spending so much money on Pat McAfee.
Yep.
Because he basically built his platform on YouTube independently by himself. And so they see it. So I guess they are of the mindset, if you can't beat them, join them. And, if they can create the model and you don't have to spend the money you can just kind of pay to outsource it.
Sure.
So maybe that is the new model, like outsourcing individual media entities. Yeah. And, just kind of contract them out. Because what I've noticed too is when they try to incorporate them into the old model, it doesn't work. Yeah. Because they don't work well with constraints.
Yep. What you got, nephew?
I just want to add to your point that I think with Ryan and also Cam being a part of the layoffs, I think a piece that plays a part into it is the fact that both Ryan and Cam have their own media entities, and they kind of know their value a little bit more. And I think ESPN sees that and knows that we aren't going to be able to keep them at the price we need to keep them at in order to turn a profit at the end of the day. Because I think the number is like $161 million between both Pat and Stephen A. Smith. So those two take up a lot of the budget by themselves. So it kind of makes their decision. And I'm talking just strictly from the business standpoint. Sure. It kind of makes their decision the easier one, because they like, okay, I know we can move this much money off because I know they're not trying to take a pay cut or stay at the same price.
Yep. No, you know what, y'all said a lot of what I was going to say. I do think that ESPN went too athlete heavy for a lot of the reasons that y'all said, as opposed to introducing fresh voices like they used to John Saunders, R.I.P., Stuart Scott, R.I.P., William Roden, even Stephen A. Smith. They kind of introduced some of those guys and made them visible, to new fan bases. Those guys were tastemakers in a sense,
Van Pelt.
Right, yeah. They introduced them as opposed to doing that to go and get an athlete who already has his own platform, who already has popularity, who's already known to the fan base, while that was an easier way to do things because now you don't really have to, the fans don't have to get to know them.
Right.
It also backfired because athletes now, they realize that they didn't need a large medium, like ESPN, you know what I'm saying, to basically filter their views and analysis.
Yep.
They could have their own platforms, like y'all just said. So yeah, and I think the second thing is they overdid it. The former athletes anywhere on ESPN, they're just everywhere. You know what I'm saying? Like they just didn't have those young up and coming voices. They're not introducing any new voices anymore. You know what I'm saying? Like they just going and getting voices from over here and over there. And like Nephew pointed out now, but those guys know their value.
Yeah.
They have their own media companies. They have their own platforms. They like, hey, I built my popularity independently. I didn't build it through ESPN. So, you didn't make me and, you can't break me.
Because now you don't need the media discipline.
Correct.
Or the journalism discipline.
Correct.
That you had to have before, that acumen. You just need charisma and, not be lazy.
Yeah, exactly.
And just learn the system.
Consistency, yeah.
Learn the system of being able to produce consistent product.
Yeah, and that's what we say here. Like, man, we have to be consistent. Like, we gonna be here every week, like aside from the time that we, take a vacation or take a week off. Right. But what we do here is we gonna be here every week. This is our thing. We gonna have our weekly conversation about various sports topics. And Nephew gonna be over there. We gonna be over here. This is our thing. So, we're building our own platform from the ground up. Like, every rock, every brick, every bit of mortar, this is ours. It may take a long time to build it, but we building it on our own. So, no, and I think that, and once it's built though, it's gonna be ours. Right. It's like, we're not gonna need to go to a Fox Sports or ESPN in order for them to validate us. Now, if they want to, then we like, hey, we could break bread, but
that's 2 commas.
Yeah, right, exactly, yeah. So, but yeah, no, I agree. I think we all kind of see the same thing. So yeah, no, that's a good conversation right there. Man, let's talk a little LeBron, man, because the LeBron watch continues, man, and I know the People's Champ is gonna love this conversation.
Yay.
LeBron continues to weigh his options as an unrestricted free agent. His prolonged free agency decision is causing a standstill across the NBA, halting the rest of free agency and delaying the official release of the 2026-2027 schedule, according to Adam Silver. Around the league, multiple front offices are delaying their own roster maneuvering, according to reports. Teams pursuing James are holding cap space and roster spots open, while other free agents are waiting to see which dominoes fall before committing. On July 21st, 2026, the Miami Heat YouTube channel briefly published a scheduled live stream link.
Oh, shit, they bring back the Heat Index?
Titled LeBron James Introductory Press Conference, set for July 27, 2026. A team spokesperson clarified to ESPN that the post was a mistake. The social media department was simply preparing digital assets in advance for the possibility of a signing.
They was reactivating the Heat Index.
And the link was published in error before being quickly made private. Man, the people want to know from the People's Champ.
No, they don't.
Why is LeBron taking so long to decide his next destination? Is it personal fit? Is it family considerations? Championship contention? All of the above or none of the above, man? What say the People's champ.
I mean, man, this is what LeBron James does, man. He's the narrative guy. This is his longevity and narrative control are his greatest superpowers.
His
man.
calling card.
And I mean, I forgot who reported it. I guess he had a decision. Oh, I was about to tell everybody where I was going, but Adam Silver had to go out here and say I was holding the schedule up, so now I'm going to think it over again. And then I saw maybe about 4 hours ago that now he's waiting to see if any of his potential suitors can land Anthony Davis or Kyrie Irving, because that may factor into his decision. I'm just like, at this point, dude.
So that
ahead, no.
so that report you heard about with him being irritated with Adam Silver came from Yahoo Sports.
Yeah. Are you not entertained?
I just, man, just pick a place, man. Like, dude, what are we doing? Like, stop putting it on your wife and putting it on Rich Paul. They're gonna go where you go.
What about his daughter? You remember he got the meme of holding his daughter, saying,
Now, God bless his
family
daughter.
family considerations with the baby.
Kid.
No, I'm not trying to get you to knock the daughter. I'm just saying
His
that
sons are grown and just aren't NBA players, but you
he
know,
he said it. The baby.
little Zuri.
Yep, Zuri.
Shout out Zuri.
Yeah, he thinking about. He worried about the family. Listen, man.
Zuri, tell Daddy to make his mind up. We know whatever Zuri wants, Zuri gets. Tell him that where you want to go, Zuri, and wherever Zuri wants, she gets. And just tell Zuri to hurry up if that's what it's boiling down to. If we got to appeal to his daughter, let's just appeal to her.
Somebody dust off my tinfoil kufi, man.
All right, go ahead.
I'm beginning to question whether or not he want to play next season at all, bro. I'm thinking he got to be at least considering retirement.
I think he wants to play. I just think the team he wants to play for don't want him.
And my rationale is this, man. He does not want to play on veterans minimum. I think he keep thinking every time he go in to sign that contract, it's sticking in his craw.
He's a billionaire.
You know, he still don't want to play on veterans minimum.
But I mean, like, I'm saying
that's sticking in his craw.
But I mean, when you're a billionaire, like, does like making money even like count?
It always counts.
I mean, I'm just saying, like, do it really count?
It's
though?
the principle of the thing, though.
Not when you playing basketball, though.
Yeah, oh man, it's the principle of it. To know it's other guys
you
around
made $1 billion playing basketball.
No, but listen.
No one's ever gonna catch you.
To know that there's other guys around you that ain't as good as you, making 4, 5, 7, 10 times as much money as you, that got to be sticking in his craw, bro.
I mean, I could only imagine.
Like, he does not want to do that. So, number one, that's sticking in his craw. He is not terribly interested in a new destination. He is, every time he think about sleeping in Philly or Cleveland, like or San Francisco even, he like, I want to sleep in my own bed every night. He does not want to play for a team unless they can win a title. And we talked about it last week. All the true contenders, the fit is questionable, let's say. And we touched on that last week. I mean, like, he does not want a miserable season with injuries to either himself or another important teammate. Philly, we talking Jalen Brown going on 11 years. And he's played 142 playoff games. That's a lot of tread on them tires. Joel Embiid, he a season-ending injury waiting to happen. Miami, we talked about Giannis. He ain't been able to stay upright in the playoffs for the last several years. Cleveland, James Harden, he in his late 30s, and he barely show up for the playoffs as it is. Golden State, how many games is Steph playing a year now?
40.
40, yeah. Like, and Jimmy Butler coming off of ACL. So, like, he thinking about, like, listen, man, this dude is legacy obsessed. Of course, a championship at this stage, that would be legacy defining, but a 30-win season surrounded by 3 or 4 future Hall of Famers, that would be just ammunition for all of the haters. And he thinking about that. A farewell tour is appropriate for LeBron, but LeBron want to go out on his terms, and this is not his terms, and that's why he keep hesitating to walk in there and sign a veteran's minimum contract. I'm telling you, it's sticking in that man's craw. I'm telling you, it is. I know what is on here. Listen, I'm psychic with this. I agree with you. I think it's still a better chance that he signs other than not, but I'm telling you, he thinking about retiring.
I mean, I get it, but I'm just saying, bro, he's never even going to see the money that he's going to spend that he makes this season.
I agree, but
he's never going to see it.
It's the principle, bro. Like, listen,
I get it, bro.
Walker Kessler is making $32 million. Walker Kessler. LeBron's gonna make $3.4 million on the veterans man. Walker Kessler gonna make 10 times more money than LeBron James, dog. He played 5 games last year and averaged 14 and 11. And I don't mean to keep picking on Walker Kessler, bro. I like Walker Kessler, but I'm just making a point, dog. 10 times more money, and he ain't even a max player. That's not even the max, dog. Like, it's people making 50. LeBron's going to make $3 million. That is going to stick in his craw, bro. Like, he's going to be an all-star.
He got to make his mind up, dog. You want to keep playing or do you want to make money?
It's going to be dudes making the taxpayer mid-level exception, making 5 times more than LeBron, dog. LeBron is punching air thinking about that, bro.
Man, he either going to play.
He is. He going to play, but he going to make everybody suffer because he got to play on veterans minimum. So he going to make you wait. he making the world wait.
Adam Silver should be like, whatever you making, it's gonna be minus some money every day. You keep BSing after a certain date. Because I'm sure the schedule has to be like finalized by a certain date.
Yeah,
I mean, it has to be. You can't roll this thing out
LeBron
September 1st.
LeBron should be like, man, get us the results of the Kawhi investigation. Don't worry about when I'm gonna be a free agent signing, bro. Do your job, though. How long you been investigating this Kawhi thing? What about those results, bro? Yeah, you got bigger fish to fry, dog. Don't worry about when I'm going to sign my veterans minimum contract.
He was like, we know what the Clippers did. We just can't say it out loud.
Right, dog. Yeah, y'all holding up all kinds of NBA business. What about that? Right. You don't need to know where Kawhi playing next year to make the schedule, dog. You need
Adam
to know.
Silver be like, hey, LeBron, don't forget 2026.
Hey, bud.
Today.
But, I mean, that's my tinfoil Kofi moment, man. I think LeBron is seriously considering retirement. He punching air thinking about that veterans minimum. Man, let's do this Jalen Duren update. I'm going to try to make this as brief as possible because my people, you know, we all sitting here playing the waiting game, watching the clock, man. But there was a slight development. It did come out this week that the Pistons rejected a sign and trade proposal from the Sacramento Kings that would have sent 3-time All-Star Domantas Sabonis to Detroit in exchange for restricted free agent Jalen Duren. Pistons rejected the sign and trade proposal because they view the 22-year-old Duren as a cornerstone of their long-term future. While Sabonis is an elite playmaker and rebounder, the Pistons front office chose to prioritize Duren's high developmental upside and long-term fit with their young roster, overtaking on Sabonis' hefty contract. Did the Pistons make the right decision by turning down the trade proposal? And should they have countered the Kings' offer? What say the people's champ?
I'm sorry, man. You lost. You lost me.
You don't want to explore this Sabonis trade and all the positive.
I'm trying so hard not to go Bill Bixby on you right now.
I mean, the only
high developmental upside.
Listen.
So I'm going to tell you why just those words alone maddens the living hell out of me. If that's a priority, please explain to me why after a 60-win season, you completely and utterly waste a developmental offseason, probably the most important developmental offseason in Jalen Duren's career.
Right.
Get me to understand that. I'm lost. That the priority was what again?
Well, they said that the Pistons front office chose to prioritize Duren's high developmental upside and long-term fit with their
Did you
young
see
roster.
Jalen Duren in Vegas with Cade and Asar
No.
and the rest of the game?
I mean, hopefully he in the gym, though, working on the 15-footer.
I'm sure he's working on his game, but wouldn't you? That's part of the development.
Right, yeah.
All of that.
The camaraderie.
All of that is a part of it.
Yep.
Oh, this is, bro. It's to the point now where I don't even care where they settle at on a number.
Yeah.
This offseason was too important.
Right.
For what I thought this team was trying to go, because we've taken a step back in terms of where everyone else in the East is. The New York Knicks came from lane 7 and lapped y'all when it mattered. They were down 0-2 in the playoffs.
Yep.
You get what I'm saying? Like, this wasn't the offseason for this nonsense, man. It just wasn't.
Yeah.
And to hear that,
right,
and for y'all to sit up here and shark the sheets on this offseason for Kevin Huerter, and God bless Isaiah Joe, I think he'll help.
Yep.
And I'm liking what I'm seeing from Okori. I hope he's shooting jumpers right now, some catch and shoots, but I'm liking everything else. But I mean, come on. 60 wins is what were we saying all year? The Phil Jackson formula.
Yep. Yeah, right. Mm-hmm. 40 wins before 20 losses, all that good stuff.
We're supposed to be building on that.
Yeah.
And I think we have failed miserably at that this offseason. Like I said, it's to the point now, whatever the number is, the hell with it. Who cares? I think the important part was to get that settled as quick as possible so that we could get to the business of championship winning. Yeah. That's the business, championship winning.
Yeah.
Not figuring out what Jalen Duren's worth. We know what Jalen Duren's worth.
Right. I'm like, the market has a value for him.
Like we know what he's worth.
Yeah. I'm like,
I'm sorry, man.
No, I mean, listen,
this shit is driving me up. I'm serious.
Me and nephew was talking about it. I'm like, like I told somebody, I'm like, if this was baseball, I'm like, and this went to arbitration, I'm like, Jalen Duren would get a 25% max contract because every player that's ever been eligible for the Rose Rule has gotten a 25% max contract. I'm like, he's not even asking for that. I'm like, he came in asking for between. You realize that the 25% max is exactly what Wemby got. Wemby got the 25% max contract. I'm like, he would get the Wemby deal. They would give it to him because every player that's ever been eligible for the Rose Rule has gotten at least a 25% max. They would give him that. That would be way more than what he was asking for. He would win the negotiation easily if you went to an arbitrator because the precedent is on his side.
Right.
It's not on the side of Trajan Langdon. And my thing is I'm like, I feel like Trajan Langdon is probably going to, I think that the better odds are that Trajan Langdon is going to give in to him than him giving in to Trajan Langdon.
But
and then it's going to be like, what was this all for anyway?
But to your point, my nigga, 25%, 30%, you can't buy back trust.
Right.
That's the part that has me up a wall.
Yeah, I mean.
We've got to now speculate on how much Jalen Duren F's with the Pistons now.
Right. I mean, listen, I don't think Josh Giddey had a long negotiation. And, as far as we know, things are fine with him and the Bulls. I don't necessarily know that this is going to irreparably damage the relationship.
Right.
But I think that this needs to be worked out sooner rather than later.
But what I'm saying is I ain't talking about just like I'm cool with the franchise. I'm talking about we need you to play hurt. We need you to play well hurt tonight. You know what I'm saying? Like, that type of stuff festers, man.
That right. I don't even know if we even in that kind of NBA.
I don't know if you like kind of, you course correct that kind of behavior on the front office tip.
Yeah, no.
You know what I'm saying? It's like I don't know if you can kind of like pay for that. And it's like,
because I'm like, man, my thing is that I think, and again, you can say I'm in the minority. The qualifying offer is a risk for Jalen Duren. It is a disaster for the Pistons, though. Like, you could say that it's a risk for
all
JD.
the way bad for us, dude.
It is a disaster for the Pistons. It's a disaster. I think that Jalen Duren's prospects as the first All-NBA, All-NBA true unrestricted free agent since Kawhi in 2019, that looked way better for him than the Pistons with Tolu Smith and Paul Reed and a developmental second-round pick as the only bigs y'all got left over. Now, yeah, you will have some cap room to do with what you can, but then it's going to be like, who's out there?
Trajan Langdon ain't show no aptitude to, like, wheel and deal with some cap space. This fool bought back Kevin Huerter.
That's why I was like, man, look, hurry up and sign Jalen Duren and give up the 3 draft picks for Trey Murphy.
I mean, like, dude.
From what I've seen of Trajan Langdon, I've seen enough of Trajan Langdon's drafting. Give up the 3 first-rounders, bro. You're not that good at drafting. I've already seen enough. Listen, no disrespect to my boy Ron Holland. I have not closed the book on him. But Ron Holland and Okori, and I'm not closed the book on Okori, but if that's the level of drafting that we doing, bro, go on and give up the 3 first-round picks and get Trey Murphy. Let's go. Like, hurry up and wrap Duren up. Trade what you got to trade to go on and get. As long as they don't want to SAR, or Duren, of course, Cade. Like, as long as we can keep our big 3, trade what you got to trade, give up the 3 first-round picks to get Trey Murphy, because I've seen enough of the drafting. And you could say I'm jumping the gun, and I know that we a little bit off topic at this point, but go on and get Trey Murphy, bro. The 3 first-round picks, we ain't doing nothing with them first-round picks, and Trajan ain't showed me nothing on his drafting. Yeah,
they blew the offseason. The offseason's a fail, dude. Like, we rolling into August.
I mean, listen, I'm a little more optimistic than you. We could salvage it because Trey Murphy is still available technically. But you're right. Like, if this drags out much further.
Remember in school we used to get progress reports in the middle of the card marking?
It's like F.
Man, all F's, bro. Well, no, okay, I'll give Isaiah Joe like a solid B.
Yeah, but let me just speak to, I think they did the right thing turning down the Sabonis trade.
Oh, yeah, well, yeah, for sure. I mean,
paying a 30-year-old that's been injury riddled the last couple of seasons.
The last 2 out of 3 seasons.
Yeah, I mean, $45 million a year as opposed to just paying your own guy $40 million a year would have been, that'd have been general manager malpractice. Again, playoff averages, 12 points and 7 rebounds for Sabonis. A counter offer, maybe that could have been intriguing, but I mean, aside from Darius Acuff himself, the Kings have nothing I want. Yeah. So I mean, and I'm sure that they're not giving us Darius Acuff.
His 3-point shooting nosedive too.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like,
like from when he was, oh God, where was he at before? Indiana.
Yeah,
from when he was in Indiana to there, kind of knows.
That's because he started shooting more of them, but. The only reason that I really wanted to explore this is because, again, one of the narratives that has been spun around here is that Duren had no market.
Oh, no leverage.
He had no market.
That's crazy.
And I'm like, there was a market. Again, like we've talked about it. Again, we don't need to beat that dead horse. But there was a trade offer. The Sacramento didn't offer anything. They offered something for him. We didn't want it, and that's okay. I mean, like, I didn't want that trade. I'm not saying, but again, this proves that had you told him earlier, he could have sought more suitors, and there would have probably been more trade offers. But you told him on June 30th. Right. June 30th, everybody has made their plans for the offseason. I mean, like, they can start negotiating on July 1st. So,
I thought we had one.
Well, yeah, I mean. You didn't like the Taurean Prince move? You know what I'm saying?
I think Taurean Prince, if he's healthy and available, will pay dividends, and he's a playoff pickup.
Yes, I think he helps. He helps a great deal.
But again, man, 60 and 22.
Yeah.
Championship moves. Have we made any championship moves this offseason?
I mean, the John Collins signing.
I mean, if John Collins translates to no, then here we are.
But I say all that to say, let me ask you, man.
And I like John Collins' game. I think he'll help. But I'm talking about championship moves. Like, you know what I mean? Like, the 60-win season is starting to look more and more and more like, damn, were we like not even close to a real 60-win team?
I mean, I think you kind of telegraphed this with your pessimism about the offseason. But let me ask the people's champ anyway. Is a trade still possible? And if it's not, why do the Pistons continue to publicly state that they are not interested in a sign and trade for Jalen Duren? Because people keep saying, trade him, he don't want to be here. Trade him, he don't want to be here. Do we have a trade partner? Is there something on the floor?
I mean, it would probably have to be a 3-team deal.
Mm-hmm.
You'd have to get another dance partner. But I'm not, I mean, I'll take Kevin Durant, but I'm not really interested at Clint Capella at this stage of his career.
Right, but so the thinking is, so here's the thing, and this is where I don't think people understand all that much. I'm having a hard time. So Kevin Garnett makes $45 million a year.
Durant?
And Kevin Durant.
Yeah, you said Garnett.
I'm sorry, Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant makes $45 million a year.
Uh-huh.
Probably going to have to give Jalen Duren 40-ish in order for him to agree to a sign and trade. Because remember, he's got to agree. I mean, people acting like you can just sign his name for him. Yeah, yeah, you're going to Houston.
Bye,
like, yeah, like he's got to agree. So you're probably going to have to give him 40-ish. And so I don't know how much Clint Capella makes. Maybe veterans minimum, maybe something nominal at this point. And then perhaps you can have a throw in like that, maybe because he's going to get 41, 42. And then,
I mean, if it was the Clint Capella of 2019.
But that's more compelling.
You'd have me aroused a little.
Yeah. Pause.
Pause. But, but like this version of Clint Capella, nah, bro.
Yeah. And I mean, I think if you looked hard enough, you could find some suitors. But but then it would beg the question, why not just pay the money to Duren? Because at this point, do you believe that what you're going to get back is going to be as good as what you're going to give up? Because, yes, I mean, like the Kevin Durant thing, that's intriguing, but that's a couple of year rental. He's 38.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
You get Kevin Durant, you have to do like how the Celtics did or Miami did all those years ago. You have to like build the team around his skill set and Cade's skill set, like specific, like the hell with the cap, the hell with the picks, whatever pieces you need to maximize what they do.
Right.
It's like, all right, while Kevin Durant's here, we're going for it all.
Yeah.
And we're going for it all the way in terms of spending, players, it has to be that.
And then you got to find a quality big.
Right.
I mean, like you said, like Clint Capella, okay. I mean, and then where you going to find a quality big at this point? You going to try to trade for one? You know what I'm saying? Because, I mean, again, like we talking about having Paul Reed jumping center game one.
Nah, bro. And we love some B-ball Paul.
I love B-ball Paul.
In his role.
Yeah.
In his role. His role's not starting.
Yeah. So again,
not for 82. He can fill in some nights.
Yeah.
But not for all 82. Let's be serious.
Yeah. And then if you got him starting, you talking about Tolu Smith playing high leverage minutes or a developmental second round pick. So I mean, I still don't think that that's tenable.
Yeah, I mean, he's shown flashes, but let's be real.
Yeah, I don't think that that's a tenable. That's not a championship contender.
No,
let me say that.
That's what I'm saying. If we trying to stack on 60 and 22, like in terms of progression, I feel like we still stuck where we're at.
I agree.
Maybe a step behind.
So yeah, I mean, again, we'll continue to keep an eye on the situation. Hopefully, this thing resolves itself. But like Ramona Shelburne said,
our leading shot blocker's gone.
Yep, that's true. They're our best rim protector. And, and Jalen Duren is technically not under contract. So,
I'm sorry, bro. What did Ramona Shelburne say? I'm sorry.
She said that, the Lakers did have interest. She said this the other day, but, they knew that the Pistons were either going to, reject any trade or match the offer sheet. And they didn't want to waste time. I mean, you know what I'm saying? I'm paraphrasing what she said, but it's on Yahoo Sports. You can go look it up.
Okay. And the Lakers just said, that's cool.
Yeah.
We have a plan B.
And that's what I said, and that's what I was telling people. People was like, nobody even made I'm like, teams are not in the business of wasting their time.
No.
The Pistons went public and said, don't bother. Yeah. And teams didn't bother.
Teams with real GMs can say, all right, that's cool, with confidence.
Yeah. And then people was like, he ain't have no market. I mean, nobody was interested. I'm like, no, the Pistons said, do not bother. We're not interested in the sign and trade, and we will match any offer sheet. Like you said, real teams say, okay, we don't waste time. We got an offseason to attend. Only Pistons fans, because we diddle around all offseason like we got forever, though, like because it's the end of July and we still don't have our offseason wrapped up. We like, oh, the market is dried up. It was nothing going on. I'm like, no. The other teams was just like, no, we would like to have our offseason wrapped up, by August, by NFL preseason,
When the Fed's gonna get done investigating Malik Beasley? Man, shut up. Malik Beasley ain't coming back, dog.
He indicted, bro. But at any rate, man, we will keep everybody apprised, man, as more Jalen Duren updates become available, man. Thank everybody for their engagement on that particular topic. It is a hot one right now in the city, and I'm sure we will continue to discuss it.
Oh, yeah.
Until we get some final resolution. Let's do a little bit of WNBA, man. Caitlin Clark.
Oh, boy.
She is a lightning rod in the WNBA this season. She's been at the center of multiple recent WNBA controversies, primarily involving alleged flopping, heated exchanges with referees, and the amount of technical fouls that is threatening a automatic league suspension that she has right now. Aside from that, Clark frequently faces intense physical play, hard screens, and aggressive defense from opponents, a reality that has sparked ongoing debate across the league. While some attribute this treatment simply to her high-profile status and competitive intensity, of the WNBA, coaches and analysts have frequently condemned the hard fouls and cheap shots directed at the Indiana Fever star. These on-court battles often translate into heated exchanges with referees, which many attribute to Clark's high technical foul count. So far this season, currently Clark is one technical foul away from an automatic one-game suspension. The physical play led a group of 11 Republican lawmakers, led by Representative August Pfluger, to send a letter to WNBA Commissioner Kathy Engelbert, demanding accountability for the on-court physical treatment of the Indiana Fever star. The letter raised concerns about potential civil rights violations and referenced specific incidents such as a play where Clark was struck in the throat. Clark and the Indiana Fever both released statements clarifying that they had no involvement with the group and they had no knowledge of the letter prior to it being sent. So let me ask the people's champ, are Caitlin Clark's civil rights being violated? And should the WNBA look into the physical play directed at her?
Man, somewhere Sean Payton is shaking his head like soft. Straight soft. Man, this has got to be some of the dumbest shit of all time where we are talking sports. Civil rights. Has anyone smeared feces in her hotel room?
I don't think so.
Or thrown urine at her bus when the team gets ready to leave or anything like that?
No, I don't.
Have any cyber porn been made of her and sent to her locker room?
I don't think so. I don't think anything.
I mean, if we talking civil rights, because that did actually happen to Angel Reese.
Yeah.
And which going to lead to my ultimate point. And this is going to piss people off. I love me some Angel Reese.
I do
But
too.
I really hate that you did the Tony Yayo to that girl when y'all beat her for that national championship. Because ever since that day, Caitlin Clark has been the gift and the curse of women's basketball. I mean, she probably could have just slid in under the radar in the WNBA as, like, you know, another great college player coming to the league. But all of the different agendas and flags that people represent,
Yeah.
I mean, all of them, pick one.
Yeah, I agree.
That all collide because of her is nuts, bruh. And and the thing about it is, does it really work? Because, I mean, the ratings are still a struggle.
Yeah. Listen.
So it's like, what's it all for? It's just like,
Her civil rights being violated is that's hilarious.
man, dude.
Yes, as far as I know, she hasn't been denied any public accommodations. Nobody has denied her the ability to sit anywhere, go anywhere, do anything. She hadn't been locked out of anywhere because of her race, gender, national origin.
Like, did the
Or
Valkyrie,
religion,
like,
yeah.
we're not playing y'all tonight if Caitlin Clark suits up. We ain't playing that bitch. We ain't doing it.
But listen, and I don't think a special investigation needs to happen because of the physical play. But, listen, in fairness to Caitlin Clark, man, other than arguing calls with refs on the floor, I haven't really seen her lament any of the rough play. Not all that much. She may have said something here and there, but she doesn't really complain about it all that much. She does argue calls on the floor.
Oh, yeah. Y'all about
No. Yeah, I said other than arguing, but
she's Luka-esque.
yeah, but no, but a lot of players argue calls on the floor. I'm like, that I don't really count. It's not. She ain't at press conferences like they beating me up, they doing stuff.
Oh,
to me.
no.
Yeah.
But on the floor, she's Luka-esque.
Yeah. See, she argues calls on the floor, but I don't count that. I don't think that.
Yeah, no one ever fouls.
Yeah, right. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, and everybody think that they
everybody
getting
got
kicked.
fouled.
Yeah, right. Yeah. I don't think there's any doubt that she has raised the profile of the league. She certainly has been a part of it anyway. There's concrete evidence to suggest that she is one of the most significant catalysts financially in WNBA history.
Without question.
There are financial studies to suggest that she generates over 25% of the league's revenue, give or take. And there was another individual who did something similar in our lifetime, and his name was Michael Jordan. Specifically, he generated about $10 billion in global value during his playing career. He spiked national TV ratings. He boosted merchandise revenue by 20%. He boosted the entire league's valuation over the time of his playing career. And much like Caitlin Clark, his competitors didn't give a damn. They fouled him hard, not just the Pistons either. Everybody fouled everybody hard. They trash-talked him. They tried to stop him from making those spectacular dunks that were putting the league on the global stage.
Froze him out of his first All-Star game.
Yep, and they obstructed him. They surrounded him in the paint. They elbowed him. They knocked him around. And he hit the gym and got stronger. And he raised his level of mental toughness. He got hungrier, and he wanted to win even more. And that's what you do. Your competitors ain't supposed to care about the fact that you're good for the league.
Yeah.
They're your competitors. And I think that's what the general public doesn't understand. They're not supposed to kowtow to you and not play you as hard as they possibly can, even bump you around some, because that's just the nature of the beast.
Yeah, man.
Nobody cares outside of your fans. They're the ones that are supposed to adore you, not your competitors. Your competitors are supposed to play you tough and hard and physical, and that's exactly what happens. And yeah, you listen, we saw it happen with Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan was raising the profile of the NBA. He was the biggest thing in the NBA. and his competitors did not care. They went at him even harder, as a matter of fact, and that's exactly what Caitlin Clark is experiencing.
And on the court.
Yes, on the court. Yeah, absolutely.
You're 100% right.
Yeah.
But this whole civil rights thing.
I mean, that is ridiculous.
But see, that's the silliness, but see, that's the tragedy that comes with her star power, because I feel that a lot of her not to her fault, to any fault of hers, but a lot of her star power comes from a bad place.
You're absolutely right.
Like a lot of her, I wouldn't even call them fans, because a lot of these folks don't watch the game.
They don't.
But a lot of the echoes around the rough play, or whatever you want to call it, and the profile that the WNBA has experienced, it comes from people that don't necessarily like the product or know the product or watch the product.
Yeah, I agree.
They're
or appreciate it even.
Yeah, they're cheering for her in spite of the league, which is nuts.
Exactly.
So
no, I agree.
So that's like the crazy part about it. Whereas with Jordan, you hated him because he was killing your team.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
You know what I'm saying? You didn't hate him because he was going against this league that was against everything we think society should be.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, that's crazy.
And I think, and more to the point, I mean, I think a lot of fans like Caitlin Clark.
If you're a basketball fan, how could you not?
Yeah, even basketball fans. I just think that my point is that the competitors are not supposed to care.
Right, for sure.
Competitors don't give a damn. They don't give a damn about what you doing for the league.
No.
When you get on the floor, what you got, nephew?
And if them being pissed off that there are extra eyes on you leads them to play you harder and more physical, guess what? Welcome to the life of a superstar.
Exactly. Step up to the challenge. Go ahead, Neff.
So I got a couple of comments in the chat. First one from Adam Hurley. He said this towards the beginning of the segment. He was saying that he's a Caitlin fan, but I like Reese too. And then Jacko Robert, he said eyes gouging, fist to the throat, and knee to the ground, all part of the game. I don't think so.
No, I'm not saying that it's all a part of the game. They're definitely fouls, and they're definitely violations. And people should be punished if they do things outside of the rules. I'm not saying anybody should get away with anything that is outside of the lines. But, I just think that people are just playing hard and physical, and she's not the only one that gets kneed and elbowed. There's other people that get kneed and elbowed too.
And none of those things constitute an 11-person congressional committee to investigate whether or not her civil rights are being violated.
Exactly. Yeah, and I'm like, and none of that constitutes a civil rights violation.
That's nuts.
Yeah, civil rights violations mean that you have been denied a public accommodation because of your race, your gender, your national origin, or your religion. I don't think any of that has taken place.
You want to keep an eye and curb excessive physicality in basketball in any level.
Of course, yeah. And I think, flagrant fouls exist because of that. Suspensions, yes, all of that exists because of that. And yes, they do play her. I acknowledge that they play her more physically because your competitors, they don't care. Your competitors are not impressed with the fact that you actually are the face of the league. You actually raising the league's profile. You went from flying commercial to flying private when she came in the league. That is all true. Those are all truisms. Those are all things that we can discuss. Competitors don't care, though. Competitors are going to hit the playing surface and still play you hard. And like the People's Champ said, might play you harder just because you have done all of those things. That's called being that's called being a superstar. A lot of people hated Mike. They played him harder and tougher because he was running around winning the MVP and scoring titles and first team All NBA. They was playing him hard. The Pistons didn't care. They still had the Jordan rules in '88. They wasn't like, oh yeah, you know what, man, he did. We just win the scoring title, man, and the MVP and Defensive Player of the Year and the Steals title. They was like, no, he's getting eliminated this year. That's good. He won all of that. He can take all his trophies and go home because we're advancing and he's not.
I want you to look at Nikola Jokic's body at the beginning of a game and at the end of a basketball
they
game.
bang him around too.
I mean, and again, I get and I know why some of the stuff with Caitlin is excessive.
Yes.
And
no doubt.
Yeah, the WNBA can do a better job of monitoring that.
Yes.
But at the same time,
and if people need to be punished, they should be.
Yeah,
Nobody is saying that anybody should get away with anything excessive just because it's her.
Yeah, but we don't need to take it to a congressional.
Yeah, I mean, right. Yeah, I don't think her civil rights have been violated. That was the point that we were making. But yeah, I'm like, if anybody's doing anything excessive, they should be punished. It's not nobody's saying that anybody should get away with anything excessive just because it's her. She shouldn't be treated special in either way. Like, you shouldn't ignore it just because it's her, but you also shouldn't over punish it just because it's her. If any of that makes sense. But yeah, no, that's I think that, I like Angel Reese too. I like both Caitlin and Angel Reese. I think they're both very good for the sport.
But that moment right there, if that was the origin of all once she did this, bro, that was their moment. That was both their, what they call it, that was both their big one.
Yeah, that was.
They have been in the lexicon ever since.
Let's talk about what Paige Bueckers said about black women head coaches in the WNBA. I thought this was interesting. And I think it deserves our attention. Dallas Wings star Paige Bueckers called out the league's glaring lack of black women head coaches, stating that black women deserve, quote, equal opportunity and no discrimination, unquote. Following a game against the Chicago Sky, Bueckers pointed out the representation gap, emphasizing that black women who shaped her own life built the foundation for the WNBA. Her comments highlighted a historic low in diversity that marks the first season since 2020 without a black woman serving as head coach, despite nearly 80% of the players being people of color. Bueckers noted that they should get the same consideration as white men and white women to hold important leadership positions in the league. Let me ask the People's Champ, does Bueckers have a point about lack of black women head coaches, or is the disparity simply a coincidence? What say you?
WNBA got rid of that damn DEI. Get it out of here. None of that DEI stuff. Get gone. I mean, man, it's one of these tired conversations that we have across sports.
Yep.
And, this is going to piss people off. But, Captain Obvious here, black people are good at sports.
Yes.
So, I mean, you would think the majority of most sports, the participants are going to be black. So you would think that would translate to being able to coach it and curate it. Mm-hmm. And, to build it and cultivate it. So, I mean, just a thought. I mean, shout out to Paige Bueckers for pointing out the obvious. But, I mean, this happens in the NBA. Like, we're still waiting for Sam Cassell to get his first head coaching job.
Yep.
And who knows when Rajon Rondo will get his.
Yep.
The NFL, we can have the same conversation. You can have a conversation in Major League Baseball about the players.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's just something that is constantly going to be up for discussion until the numbers show otherwise. Like, I don't know who's the governing body to say hire more black people.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Or interview more black people so you have more qualified black people to choose from, since that's always the comeback. Like, will they go for the most qualified person?
Sure.
Well, interview as many black folks as possible till you find one that's more qualified than the one you got your mind set on already.
Yeah, I mean,
so
I think, obviously I concur with all of that. And, I was having this conversation because somebody posted about this in one of the basketball groups I was in. And I said, everything that's racial isn't racist. I said, if 30% of the NHL head coaches were black, I would think that was strange too. Because 99% of the players in the history of the NHL have been white. I'm like, I would think that was bizarre. I'm just going to be real.
It looked weird as hell.
Of course. I'm like that. I'm like, who wouldn't think that was bizarre? I'm like, that has nothing to do. I'm like, and I'm bliggity black. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, and proud. I'm like, but I would think that was strange. I'm like, wouldn't you? I'm like, you don't think white people would be like, man, why are 30% of the head coaches in the NHL black when 99% of the players in the history of the sport have been white? I'm like, that would be odd. I'm like, so the fact that 70% of the women in the history of the WNBA have been black, the players, and there are 0 black head coaches, of course that's odd. I'm like, of course you would see that's troubling. You have 0 of them. So, yeah, I'm like, everything that's racial isn't racist. We just looking at the racial disparity.
Right.
And you don't have one black woman, filling any of these positions. And I think that her words are interesting, and that's why I quoted them. She said, equal opportunity and no discrimination. So again, I'm not inside of women's basketball as heavily as I am the men's basketball or the NBA, I should say. You know what I'm saying? Like, I follow it more than I once did, but I don't follow it as closely as I do the NBA.
I got you.
So, I was reading an article about this, and I took some of Candace Parker's quotes. And so I'm just going to read some of them, just a couple of them. She said, quote, there's a number of statistics and analytics that lead toward the fact that there is a gap, and it doesn't have to do with capability or being able to do the job, unquote. And then the next thing she said is, quote, I think it's having the opportunity and being able to establish what is the criteria. And once that is being said, then we can go forward with making sure that we put measures in place to make sure that there's an opportunity for these voices and these people to be seen. We've seen the impact that the NBA has had with African-American head coaches and parameters that are put in place. Maybe that's something that needs to be put in place with the WNBA, unquote. Did you have something, nephew, before I get into my next question?
No, so what I wanted to just talk about is it's not necessarily a point to the race of the person who's coaching a particular sport or whatnot. It's more so that we're kind of just losing altogether the people who played the sport being able to actually coach the sport. Like, for example, like, you look at baseball managers back in the 70s and the 80s compared to now, managers ain't the ones who's making the lineup cards. It's more so the front office. Same thing with basketball. It's like, yeah, you got a coach there and they got a style that they probably want to play. Yep. But at the end of the day, it's the front office who's really making those decisions at the end of the day. So I just, outside of football, I feel like we kind of we're losing recipes as a society and as a culture when it comes to just how information and how experiences get passed down from generation to generation.
No, I mean, you know what? I think there is something to that because, I mean, look, there's no diversity on Everybody Has One. You know what I'm saying? Like, because people hire who they know. You know what I'm saying? So, like, I think that there is something to that.
And I'm not saying that is despite the point. I'm just saying that's a part. I feel that's another layer to it as well.
I agree. No, I'm agreeing with what you're saying. Like, I think that people just hire, who they know and who's in proximity to them. And, so, that was the question that I was going to get into. But because I think that there is something to that. Like, there is something to proximity to people, proximity to these, to general managers. And you're right. Like, it's, what that role entails, who's doing what. Yeah. And with that in mind.
And some things are just baked in.
Yes.
I mean, for real, like, I think with some of this stuff and to kind of call balls and strikes, some of the stuff is kind of like one of those things where whether it's true or not, it's just kind of one of those things, so you abide by it.
Right.
Like, don't stare at the sun too long.
Right.
They're like, whether it's true or not, it's just some people don't do because it's just something that we're just innately just programmed not to do.
Yeah, because, and before I get to that, one of the things that Candace Parker also pointed out, and that was pointed out in the article that I read, is that in this last cycle of hires, 2 of the male coaches that were hired had never coached women before. 2 of the male head coaches. And, that's when she was talking about criteria, like, what's the criteria? Like, because if you have too loose a criteria or no criteria,
Right.
then people can just hire whomever they want. And listen,
Because who's to say that like them not coaching women before should be a disqualifier?
correct. I was just, so to that point, with that in mind, let me ask the people's champ, should there be a set of clear criteria for a head coaching position in the WNBA? Should there be a matriculation process, or should it remain up to the discretion of the franchise? What say the people's champ?
Can we do something where the league, the front offices of the league are made aware of the candidates per said team prior to the interview, prior to the said team's coaching process, and then like a review after a hire's made of said interviews, and then kind of have like have a analyst crew that like reviews their process and how their process works and why this person. I mean, we're kind of like counting on a lot of integrity.
I was
going to
say, yeah, like we getting in the weeds, I think.
But it's like, I mean, I don't know, because see, when you say a criteria, I still think there'll be ways where they'll just be like, "This is my criteria, dog." So,
right, yeah, and that's why I asked. Should there be that? Like a league-wide, like should the WNBA pass down a criteria? Should the WNBA say, listen, we're going to have a matriculation process? In other words, let's say I'm gonna use let's just use the Dallas Stars, or not the Dallas Stars. Dallas Wings. I'm thinking about about NHL. Use the Dallas Wings. Your first assistant will matriculate into the head coaching spot when said coach leaves. I'm spitballing, bro. I'm not saying that that's necessarily the way it should be.
Right.
But I'm saying, like, do you think there should be a matriculation process? Do you think there should be a clear set of criteria set by the league? Or do you think each franchise should have its own discretion? Like, because ultimately, do you really want to review, let's say, the Charlotte Hornets and how they did they process? You know what I'm saying? Like, do you really care? Because, I mean, some of these franchises are perpetually bad. So, they always hire bad coaches. And,
right.
And failure is an option when you're on your own franchise. You know what I'm saying?
I don't know what the fix is. Because, again, like if you leave it to each team is an individual entity. And they'll just be like, all right, well, this is what we're going to do. We're going to keep rolling as such.
Right.
And it's like, even with, the matriculation system, I mean, if the criteria is set up where it's like, hey, I mean,
right, yeah,
Jason cool and all,
yeah, you'll just make sure that the right people are in position to matriculate.
Who's to say when it's Jason's turn to get called up? I think you'll be better as a film guy,
right?
But wait, nigga, I was an assistant last year,
right? Yeah.
I'm up for the, but we need you in the film room,
right?
But Steve over here, fresh out of grad school,
right,
coaching assistant. I mean, like,
and I agree.
Like, what stops that?
That's why I said, should the league create criteria? Should the league create benchmarks? Like, or
that's where I was kind of.
Should each franchise have its own?
That's what I'm thinking in terms of. I mean, okay, I guess. Maybe you have the benchmarks set universally, I guess.
I mean, yeah, and I'm not even saying that's the answer. I'm just asking.
I mean, either. Yeah. I don't, like you say.
I don't know that that's the right answer.
I don't think you can. You can reverse social engineer shit, bro.
Right. I mean, and I'm still kind of like, listen, each franchise is independently owned. I think that you still want people to be able to do what they want to do with their franchises. I'm in principle, I'm kind of against a league-wide criteria.
Right.
You know,
Okay.
I don't mind some guidelines, you know what I'm saying? Because somebody might want to go outside the box, right?
Right.
You might want to hire a college assistant. You might want to hire a Division II head. You know what I'm saying? Like, you might see something, you know, like I think about Phil Jackson. I believe, like, he was, like, coaching in the Canadian League when the Bulls hired him. Like, I think that was his only head coaching experience, and he turned out to be great. So, you know what I'm saying? Like, you don't want to stop people from being creative and thinking outside the box. And also, you know, like, you don't want to prevent people from failing either. You know what I'm saying? Like, the Clippers was bad for years, you know, and you want to allow failure to be an option. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can fail over and over again, too.
But it's like, and to your point, sometimes I feel all of those things are used and can be used to still push the black candidates back at the end of the line.
Yeah, I agree. No, and I think that, yes, I agree. So,
like, even with all these other initiatives, are like, well, hey, man, everybody's got a shot, but you're number 5.
Right. Yes, I agree. Like, so I'm with you. I don't necessarily know what the answer is other than, you know, people just need to do the right thing. You know what I'm saying? Like, and, you know, and then that's just a kindergarten. That's just a kindergarten approach.
I mean, the simple thing sometimes is the best way to go.
And I'm like, you know, I think that if everybody is given a fair opportunity, I believe that, you know,
and
you'd have, you know, some black women. Heck, I'm not even saying that it would be equal. You know, I'm not even saying that they would have half of the slots or, you know, or a third of them. I'm just saying that
they would. That's just not reality.
Yeah, I'm just saying that they would have some. You know, like it would not. The number would not be 0 if, you know, given an opportunity. Because again, the majority of female basketball is going to be black women and other women of color. So. But there's not going to be any possible way that if opportunities are not simply parsed out, but are freely given, that women would be.
But the conversation, like I said, the conversation never stops, because again, it's always something bigger. That's the root. Because it just, if we ever get to the point where it's close to equal opportunities. Or we just live in a world where it just exists, where it is equal in terms of the coaches in the WNBA, NBA, or pick your sport. Then the conversation will turn into, you know, team ownership.
Sure.
And you see what
it always goes up.
It always goes up.
It always goes up. Yep. No, I mean, I think that's a good conversation. I think it's, you know, it's always good to have those uncomfortable conversations about, you know, how you fix things and make sure that everybody gets a good opportunity to hold the highest positions in sports. Let's talk some boxing, man, because we got a big fight coming up on Saturday. Errol Spence versus Tim Tszyu. Former unified welterweight champion Errol Spence Jr. is ending a 3-year hiatus to fight Australian superstar Tim Tszyu in Sydney, Australia. The bout, originally targeted for 158 pounds, was bumped to 160-pound middleweight limit after Spence's struggle to cut weight. Errol Spence, 28-1, 22 knockouts, has not fought since his devastating 2023 loss to Terrence Crawford. Seeking a massive challenge rather than an easy tune-up, the 36-year-old former champion traveled to Tszyu's home territory for his ring return. However, his late request to raise the fight limit to 160-pound middleweight cap raised red flags for analysts and fans who viewed the move as a potential sign of trouble entering the late stages of his career. The pre-fight buildup has been heavily charged. Tensions flared when Tszyu, who previously held the WBO 154-pound belt, threatened to target Spence's previously injured right eye, referencing Spence's 2021 retinal tear. In response, Spence publicly snubbed Tszyu's offer for a pre-fight handshake. Of course, you know, I'm publicly on the record saying I didn't believe that we would ever see Errol Spence Jr. fight again because of the sheer brutality of the Terrence Crawford fight. When you watch the build-up to this fight, though, are you confident the Spence of old can return to form? Let's say the people's champ?
Confident? No. Hopeful? Extremely.
Gotcha.
And I'm not, trying to be negative. It's just 36 now?
Yeah.
3 years?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's rough, bro. I
Yeah,
mean,
it's a long layoff, man.
no one's the same after that much time.
That's a lot of ring rust, man.
I mean, Ali,
Yep.
Mike,
Mm-hmm.
and they were younger
Yeah.
when they had their hiatuses for, various reasons.
Right.
Reasons.
Mm-hmm.
So that is concerning to me within itself.
Sure.
The layoff, the stage in his career of the layoff, and coupling that with 36.
Yep.
Your body starts to change. That's why I think he had the trouble with the 158.
Mm-hmm.
Because,
I agree.
35, 36, that metabolism switches up out of nowhere. And I
Man.
don't care how many miles you run.
Yeah, man.
Once that physiology starts to switch up, it is what it is. I mean, you can still, curate it to your age, but still it's going to, you're going to carry what your bones are going to carry at that age.
Yeah, no question.
So that could be a huge factor when you look at Tim Zoo's speed.
Yeah, man.
So again, I'm hopeful, man. I'm always root for Errol because say
too.
what you want about Errol, and I think this, I hope this again doesn't come back to bite him. But Errol goes out on his shield, and in this sport, you got to respect that. He went and made that, did all he could to make that Bud fight happen in spite of how all the promoters were moving involved with that, and I give him credit for that. And to come back for your first fight in 3 years to take on a Tim Zoo, that's ballsy, bro.
Yeah, that is.
So I got to give him credit for that, and I'm hoping that maybe he can have a good showing, win, and I mean if he wins, maybe this could springboard him maybe a few more fights, and then he can walk away satisfied. Because nobody wants to go out the way that he went out, especially with the career that he had.
Yeah,
let's not get it twisted.
Yeah, Errol Spence is a great
dude
fighter.
Is one of the best.
Yes, absolutely.
So. Like I said, I'm just hoping for a good fight, man. But the 160, it does concern me. Whenever you're talking, making weight and you're and the fighter that you're going against can move in the ring. Yeah.
No, man. I agree with you. I'm hopeful. Errol Spence, like you said, he's a great fighter when completely healthy, both mentally and physically, I might add. He has long arms. He's got an excellent jab. His footwork has always been good. He strikes quick, and he circles away from his opponent's power hand extremely well. I think that's one of the things that confounded him about Bud, because Bud is so ambidextrous.
Mm-hmm.
And it's, you don't know which way to circle because he can hurt you with both hands, but that's conversation for another day. I'm just not sure that since that last car accident, his fine motor skills have ever returned, though.
Think he may have a TBI?
I don't know, man. I don't want to play doctor,
right?
But he just doesn't seem like the same person, and I'm not sure, if he can even exert himself the same way.
Mm-hmm.
Because like you said, you pointed out in that interview with Andre Ward when preparing for the Bud fight, when they said he wasn't sparring.
Yeah, that was crazy.
First of all, insane. When you about to fight somebody like Bud Crawford. But then, that got me to thinking, why though? Like, why exactly are you not sparring?
Minimize hits to the head.
Correct. And that got me thinking, like, is he not able to exert himself? Are they worried about him getting hit? Is it all the above? So, that worries me. Yeah. And I think that could have something to do with the change in weight, not being able to cut that last couple of pounds, not being able to really exert yourself the same way. Mm-hmm. I really do hope that I'm wrong, though. And,
yeah, absolutely.
I would love to see Errol Spence, man, the Errol Spence of old come out and really look like himself, man, and come out there. And,
You'd be hard-pressed to catch me rooting against Errol Spence Jr.
yeah, no doubt. What you got now?
I do want to point out that Errol Spence did have a rib injury during the training camp for the Bueckers fight.
Oh, okay. Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, like yeah, man. I mean, no, I'm worried about him physically. You know, I'm worried about him physically holding up and being his old self, man. Hopefully, you know, he is 100% physically, because at 100% physically, man, he is tough. And you know, Tim Zoo ain't no joke, though.
Nah, man. That's what I'm saying. I'm like, for him to come back and hop in there with Tim, that says a lot about who he is, and hopefully it says a lot about how he feels that he can perform in the ring too.
No question. No question about it, man. So we're gonna be watching that fight very, very closely, man. And I'm rooting for Errol, man. Of course.
Now, is that one of those fights that's like at 2 PM, or is that gonna come on at night?
That's a good question, man. That's a good question. I have no idea what time that fight starts, man.
Because Australia, that thing could come on at 8 AM.
You ain't lying. What you got, Neff?
It's a night fight.
It's a night time.
Okay, thank you.
Good.
Thank you.
Good. Boots Ennis, man.
Okay.
His next opponent. Let's talk about that. On June 27, 2026, Jerron Boots Ennis, his last fight took place. He defeated Xander Zayas to capture the unified WBA and WBO junior middleweight, super welterweight, whichever would have you, world titles at the Barclays Center in Brooklyn. Immediately, discussions began about who Ennis should face next. Promoter Eddie Hearn is aiming for an Ennis versus Josh Kelly unification bout targeted for November. Boots has specifically called out Sebastian Fundora, the reigning WBC and WBO king at 154. Fundora has stated he has a mandatory obligation first, but a unification bout with Ennis remains a highly anticipated matchup. Virgil Ortiz is a long-awaited, high-profile matchup. Ortiz recently settled his promotional dispute with Golden Boy, clearing the political hurdles required to make a massive 154-pound clash with Ennis a real possibility. Those are the three front runners, but who should emerge as the fan favorite, and who would you personally like to see him fight? What say the people's champ?
I think for me first,
Yep.
Josh Kelly.
Okay. Yeah, I think Josh Kelly will be first. Let me say that. I think that's the one Hearn is trying to make initially for November.
Because I think if he can wrap that up, then he can kind of springboard where he can kind of finish the gauntlet on some like Tommy Hearns type tip. And if he can clean sweep those three, that face of boxing claim, got some real steam behind it then.
Yeah.
To me.
But let me say, selfishly and personally,
you want him to fight Ortiz?
I want him and Fundora in the ring tomorrow. To me, stylistically, they are perfect. That's going to be this generation's Sugar Ray versus Tommy Hearns. Stylistically, that's going to be fire.
I can see that.
That is because Sugar Ray Leonard, for those who do not know, and by the way, I was barely alive the first time they fought. And I'm not just saying that they fought in 1981. I was born in 1981. I was barely alive the first time they fought. They fought a thriller. Sugar Ray Leonard knocked out Tommy Hearns in the 14th round in a thriller. And then they fought again in 1989. 8 years later, I was a little bit older, a little bit more aware. They fought to a split draw.
Tommy got robbed.
Yeah, right.
Tommy got robbed.
They fought to a split draw in another action fight. They were perfectly matched stylistically. I'm telling you, you heard it here first. Boots Ennis and Sebastian Fundora are this generation's Tommy Hearns and Sugar Ray Leonard. They are stylistically perfect for each other.
And you want them to fight tomorrow? I think that should be
Tomorrow.
the crescendo.
I want them in the ring tomorrow. I'm telling you that will be the most exciting boxing match that we have seen in 2 decades. And I want them in their prime. I don't want no fooling around. I want it tomorrow. Stylistically, and again, maybe I'm wrong, but in my time watching boxing, stylistically, I feel like what they do is perfect. Boots is reckless abandon. He going inside. He's super skilled. And Fundora with
And
the
he's
long
peaking right now.
Yep, with the long arms, with the power punching, with the strength, the downhill shots.
Yeah.
I don't know how long it's gonna last.
Fundora shoot that right down that pipe.
But how
Devastating.
forever long we can get that fight, 9 rounds, 10 rounds, it's gonna be that's gonna be one of the best fights we have seen, maybe since the turn of the millennium.
Damn, man, you done sold me on it.
Man, listen, I want that fight.
I'm
ASAP.
thinking strategic. I'm like, listen,
Yeah,
unify first.
I'm talking
Take
action.
care of Ortiz, and then Fundora has like the money fight, the legacy fight.
Man, listen, I want that fight. That fight, they'll probably fight a trilogy.
I mean,
They are stylistically.
they'll definitely draw the bread. Ain't no doubt about it.
But they are stylistically perfect for each other, though. Like just the way that they both fight, because both of them are action fighters. They both get in there and fight. Like nobody is a tactician. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like they both are good tactically, but nobody is feeling.
No,
nobody
they like
out.
to let their hands.
They
go.
going in there.
They
man.
like to let their hands.
That
go.
fight would just deliver.
Can somebody can Zuffa make it happen or something?
I mean, listen, Turkey Al Sheik, man.
Zuffa,
Yeah, bring the money, brother.
do it.
Yeah, bring the money. I think I think Sebastian, he throwing up this mandatory fight against some nobody. But I think, the big enough checks on both sides, man, and everybody's skipping all of these mandatories, and they going right to the
bag work.
Yeah, right to the bag, man. Listen, that's now again, this is my selfish desire. I'm like, if you're asking me, that's this generation's Tommy Hearns versus Sugar Ray Leonard. That fight is going to be a perfect action fight. It's the best fight that can be made right now from an action standpoint. Like, there's no better fight in boxing to be made. It just from a stylistic standpoint.
That fight could last 1 round.
It could. Or it could last, or it could be the best 12 rounds of boxing we ever seen. Like, you're right. Because of the way both of them just go at it with reckless abandon.
Or it could be Gotti Ward.
Yeah. Yeah, it just could be them standing there just chopping away. But they are both very skilled, though. So, like, every punch is going to be properly placed. Like, no, man, listen, I'm bullish on that fight, man. That fight right there, I'm so high on that one. I'm like, that one right there, that would be the absolute best case scenario. I think it's stylistically perfect. It is definitely Tommy Hearns and Sugar Ray Leonard all over again.
I'm picking up what you're putting
Yeah,
down.
it is, man. I'm like, man, I just watching both of them. I went back and watched some of their most recent fights. I'm like, man, whoever got the money to make that happen, got to make that happen. They got to make that happen. But I digress, man. We can go to the SS segment unless you got anything on that, nephew.
No, I ain't got nothing.
Okay. All right, man.
I want to know who Neff think he should fight next.
Who you think he should fight next, nephew? What you got?
It's gonna be Kelly.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be Kelly too. Unfortunately.
I honestly don't care for the Fundora or the Ortiz fight.
Oh, you okay? You don't like Fundora?
All right, a little out of the box.
Like, I'm not saying Fundora's bad, but Fundora's not what everybody had him being when he first was coming up, when he was running through everybody. he's not the same fighter that he was when he was fighting at 147. And I feel like because he still has the huge height advantage, but I just feel like it's less of an advantage because he's going against bigger people and they're much stronger at the end of the day. And I feel like Boots is still growing into his strength still at this point of the time. As far as the Ortiz fight probably has the best potential to me. I just feel like by the time we get that fight, it's going to be too late.
I don't think Ortiz has ever been a champion, though.
That's my point. And he wants a 50-50 split.
Yeah, no way.
And that,
And
so
that's going to keep pushing and pushing out like that.
exactly. So it's just, I think Kelly's going to be the next fight. But I just think Boots is at a point where he's growing into one of those top 10 pound-for-pound fighters.
I agree.
And I don't think there's enough talent surrounding him to give him a real challenge. One thing I did want to talk to y'all about real quick before we moved on was Frank Martin signed with Top Rank.
Oh.
So he's now part of that stable.
Oh, really?
I think if you look at it, if you take a step back and look at it, it kind of looked like the plan might be him versus Mason at some point.
Abdullah Mason, okay.
What do y'all think about that possibly happening probably 2027, 2028-ish?
I mean, yeah, that's an intriguing matchup. I like that fight. I take Mason in the here and now. I also saw Devin Haney and Keyshawn Davis are negotiating.
From what I know, it looks like that's going to a purse bid.
Okay.
But another news item I did see was that Devin Haney did sign like a direct promotional deal with DAZN.
Mm-hmm.
Like similar to the Floyd type deal that he had after he not necessarily money. I'm just talking about like,
Gotcha.
I'm the promoter of my fights, and I got a direct contract with the broadcaster, and not going through Eddie Hearn or Bob Aaron or whatnot. So Devin's making some moves.
I see. Okay.
Dollar bill and struck again.
Bill Haney, man. God bless him. Man. I mean, I think there's a lot of great fights to be made.
The landscape is there.
I don't like all of these promotional bodies, though.
Yeah.
Like, I wish that, I like guys signing with, this entity and that one. I'm not mad at that. I understand that that's a financial decision, right? Like everybody want a regular paycheck, you know what I'm saying? But I feel like that could just gum up the works, though. I'm like, I want the best fights. You know what I'm saying? And I think Fundora, I disagree with you a little bit, nephew. I think that Fundora, he did have, the fight against Zoo, but he beat the brakes off Keith Thurman. And, not that Keith Thurman ain't, a million miles over the hill, but Keith Thurman, like I had him right where I wanted him.
Like, no, you didn't, bro.
Yeah, bro. Like, yeah, you was beating his hands up.
Face
with
looked
your
like
face.
you got slapped with a bag of dimes.
Right. Yeah, like he about to kill. But I understand what you're saying. But I just think that Fundora and Boots are a perfect fight stylistically. And Fundora is long, and he'll create a puzzle. I would take Boots to win that fight, by the way. I do think Boots will win. I kind of agree with you. Like, Boots is still growing into his strength. I don't think he's going to stay at 54 forever either.
I don't think so either.
That's why I want that fight. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't think he's going to be at 54 for 3-4 years. You know what I'm saying? Like, they don't have time to let that linger. And I don't think Fundora going to stay there forever. He's 6'4".
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, he's eventually going to be a middleweight or probably even a super middleweight. So, you know what I'm saying? I think that the time to make that fight at 154 is going to come and go. You know what I'm saying? Like, it ain't going to just, like, 2027 is probably the window. And then by 2028, it's going to be over with to make that fight, and both of them are going to be moving on in terms of weight class. So, no, man, that's all good stuff.
And on the local tip, we got Johnny Mansour about to make his pro debut down at the Fox.
Oh, yeah, most definitely.
It's a lot of popping.
And next week, man, I think the Lions open training camp, right?
I believe so, yes.
And I want to talk. Well, we're gonna talk about that NFL top 100 list. We've been pushing that off a little bit, but I wanted to wait till the Lions started training camp.
Try to skedaddle on down there.
Yeah,
the Allen Park.
Because I've been meaning to talk about that NFL top 100 list with you, and top receivers, top running backs, top all of that, and then we got to get into the Jahmyr Gibbs situation. I'm smelling a holdout. Little bit of a holdout, but
hey, man.
But that's a developing story, so we
don't play, bro.
Yeah, we need Gibbsy, man. We can't.
Don't do this to me.
We can't have Duren and Gibbs.
Don't
man,
do this to me, Ray.
With us in limbo.
I'm just saying, we 7 weeks out, so
don't do this to me.
It's time to start. It's time to start looking towards.
Yes.
Time to start looking into these teams, figuring out what's gonna happen.
Yeah. Yep. You're right, man. So yeah, we got our schedule, man. I already put it on the schedule. But I do want to talk that NFL top 100. That's gonna be something, man. So I just wanted to tease that, man, while we were still on the air. And you got anything for the SS segment? Anybody?
I told you ESPN for that Ryan Clark nonsense. That was super weak.
What you got, Neff? You got anything for the SS segment?
I don't got nothing. It's gonna be kind of interesting as we get to this last week, and it's football season. It's just in there like the past couple of days. I just been like, I'm ready for some football.
Yeah, man. Yes, I'm
Speaking
chomping
of football,
at the bit.
Shout out to Spain winning the World Cup.
I was gonna say that too. Shout out to Spain, man. 1-0 victory over Argentina. Yeah, man. Yep, Spain, the European champ. Now they the World Cup champ.
Yeah, they about to turn up.
Yeah, no doubt.
All the way.
Yeah, man. So, yep, yeah, we right there on the lip of training camp.
Yeah, we right there. Yep, the most wonderful time of the year.
Yes, indeed, man. I heard a couple of Grant Delpit rumors too. You heard those rumors swirling a little bit?
No.
That he's unhappy with his contract in Cleveland, the safety over there.
Yeah.
And
we need safety help.
We do. I don't know if we need another damn safety contract when we need to get Gibbs under contract, but
true.
One more thing.
Go ahead, Neff.
What do you think the conversation is surrounding the Tigers come next week?
I was gonna say that Scooble interview. I was gonna bring that up, Doug, and I was also gonna give a shout out to Jalen Duren, because did you hear what Jalen Duren said? Exactly, Doug. Nothing. He's not talking, Doug. Yeah, and I shout out to him for that. Like, he's not on anybody's podcast. He ain't on his own. He's not going live, Doug. He's being quiet, Doug.
A lot of anonymous sources.
Exactly, Doug. Shout out to him for being quiet in the social media age. We haven't heard from him because nothing he could say could help his cause right now. Just remain silent.
I think the interesting thing when it comes to the Tigers is that since June 1st, if you look at the numbers,
most home runs in baseball.
They're one of the best teams in baseball.
Most home runs in baseball.
No, they're gonna make a push.
It's like, do we hold on to see if 2024 happens again?
Right, exactly.
Boy, you setting yourself up for another 15-inning meltdown.
Hey, I'm not going that far yet.
Yeah, like what we gonna do at this deadline? No, I mean, listen,
I think it's interesting.
Yeah, I'm like, we got a couple of conversations to have around the Tigers. We gonna have to stop ignoring them at some point, because now they trying to look like they got a pulse. You know what I'm saying? Like, they trying to look like the boys of summer for real. Because, they look dead for a minute, man. Now they over there shaking and gyrating in the corner like, oh, maybe they alive over there. We might have to give them some water and some food.
Yep.
But, yeah, so, Yeah, no, man, it's a lot of interesting. It's actually been an interesting summer. Where I thought it was gonna be pretty quiet, man. We've had we had to, these shows have been going a couple of hours, man, because it's been a lot to
local sports front office futility.
Exactly, and that part, man, you said it. I couldn't have said it better, man. So we appreciate the Everybody Has One family, man, for joining us yet again, man. We will be back next Wednesday for more discussions again, man. You can pencil in the NFL Top 100. We're going to discuss that. There are a couple of local issues to discuss. There's some Lions issues to discuss. So we're going to try to tackle all of that, no pun intended. The Lions will start training camp. We'll see if Jahmyr Gibbs is there. If he's not, we definitely going to get into that situation.
Tear some shit up.
And we appreciate y'all hanging with us, man, for this whole time, man. We know these are some marathon shows, but we love y'all hanging out with us, man, and we love putting this together for y'all, man. So y'all make sure y'all check back in with us next Wednesday at 8:30 or as close as we can get it. Make sure y'all continue to like, share, and subscribe. That's Everybody Has the #1 sports podcast on YouTube. That's Everybody Has One spelled out sports podcast everywhere else. That's Instagram, that's Facebook, that's Threads, that's Twitch, and that's TikTok. The audio version of the podcast is also available on Apple Podcasts and Spotify, man. So make sure y'all tapping in with us there. None of this is possible without the Everybody Has One family, man. So we appreciate y'all so very, very much, man. We had another great week of engagement. Like we said before, thousands of views on the YouTube channel, man, and great engagement all across those social sites. We appreciate y'all continuing to tap in with us, man. We building our platform. Thank y'all for helping us do that by propagating the content, sharing the content on your personal pages. Again, like, share, and subscribe. Hit that bell notification. When you hit that bell notification, make sure you hit all. When you hit all, you will be notified every time we post new content, new videos, new shorts, and, of course, every time we go live. And that's every Wednesday at 8:30 or as close as we can get to it, man. We appreciate the Everybody Has One family. It's the Everybody Has One podcast. Peace.